operator, or you drive for a carrier that's just not had a good year. Things have been up, they've been down, they've been rough, they've been tough, they've been smooth, they've been fun. You know, it's been a year. I learned a lot about the industry. I've experienced a lot. And what 2024 holds for me right this very moment, I'm not too sure yet. I'm looking forward to it though, because with the end of 2023 and the start of 2024, there is an opportunity for me to forge a new chapter. Whether or not it's the same content, that remains to be seen. Hopefully we'll add some new characters, bring out some new stories, have some better experiences. But that is the future, and the future isn't here yet. It's on the way. All I can say is, though, it's been an unforgettable year in a lot of respects. Being able to have the opportunity to go out on my own, have my own operating authority, has been tremendously rewarding. I am extremely grateful for that experience and what I've learned, and I sincerely hope that what I've learned will stand me in good stead in 2024. After all, if you're not learning, you're not living. And if you're not living, you're not learning. Sounds kind of trite to say it that way, but I think I find it appropriate these days. So yes, the end is the beginning. And I am very glad to be going home. I thought about trying to be out longer this weekend, but circumstances arose that I'll talk about in a future video once we've crossed into 2024 itself. That makes me glad that I decided, even before those circumstances manifested, that it was better for me just to only kind of hop out and then hop back home, because I was actually planning to get on the road for a few days this week, or possibly start a long cruise and be out through New Year's. But when I was getting started this week, I was doing my pre-trip inspection, getting rolling, getting going. All of a sudden, I discovered that in some kind of rainy weather, that one of my headlights was out, and that snowballed into a diagnostic process that revealed that I had a wiring problem in the front harness that apparently does routinely affect Kenworth T680s, especially once you hit 500,000 plus miles. That connector that chains your harness to your hood lights. It's the wiring harness connection, so that your side markers on the fenders, or the wheel hubs, the wheel fairings, are controlled, as well as it sends power and control to the headlight assemblies. There was damaged wiring in there. Unfortunately, I was able to find a shop to get that fixed, because I didn't have the time, the tooling, or what I would consider the skill to really sit there and do all of that in the cold, possibly wet, sloppy weather. Better to find a shop in that regard, and I did. it out for a while. Had a chance to get that one taken care of. Last night, one more air leak on this truck conquered, which is good. There's probably more. I don't know where they're at. And right this moment, I don't care because the big ones have been taken care of. So those problems will be for 2024. Whatever other air leaks I can unearth, discover, or deal with, that will be for next year. Those right around the corner, that'll be for next year. So then, looking back to this year's maintenance, there was a bunch of tire issues on my trailer. A lot of issues with my APU, stuff wore out on that. Motor mounts, I did the AC lines, I did the AC compressor, did the alternator. A lot of stuff on the APU, spent a lot of money on it, more than I really wish I would have needed to, but it's one of those things. The truck is almost 8 years old, and I'm assuming the APU is original equipment essentially. So the APU was put on this truck sometime in the spring of 2016, because this truck was built in 2016 for the 2017 model year. And so I'm assuming the APU was put on basically right away. And it just was at that point in its life cycle where stuff wore out and needed to be replaced. Same with this truck. So many sensors had to get replaced this year. Talked about in the last one of the video we did in the late summer, early fall, getting the front radar mount redone, because that was basically hanging on by a thread. That had worn out. Thermostats behind the water pump. I had the water pump replaced as well. Just so many different things needed to get done because they were just due. NOx sensors, of course, that was the end of last year, but it kind of counts because that sort of bled into the start of this year. Still haven't had a chance to get the DPF filter replaced, but that's going to be a 2024 problem. So, yeah, a lot of shop visits, oil changes and shocks, all kinds of stuff. In a lot of respects, I am glad to turn the page on 23 because of all of that, all those expenses. And I'm hoping 2024 will be much less expensive. But that is one of those things where, quite literally, it will come down to what happens and when. But enough humdrum and maudlin and whining and looking back on the bad. Let's look at some of the positives. Crossed a lot of states off my to-visit list this past year, including going to New England in a way that I hadn't been before. I went to upstate New York. I've been to New York quite a bit. Been to New York City. That was not a fun experience, but I don't regret going there. Just will never go there again with a semi-truck. I got to go to New Hampshire, Delaware, Massachusetts. Crossed off some colonial states, which is nice because it's one of my bucket list items is just to visit every state in the union in some capacity. And I think altogether between trucking and just my own travels, I think I've only got 5 states left. That is Connecticut, Maine, Vermont, Alaska, and Nevada. Those are the only 5 states I have not been to, either as a truck driver, in my own personal vehicle, or that I've flown to. Because I did fly to Hawaii. I've driven to and flown to California. Yeah, it's just 5 to go at this point. Then I'll have crossed all 50 states off of my bucket list. And of course, right before I hit that 50th state, we'll do something nuts like make Cuba or Puerto Rico the 51st state. That'd be just my luck. But who knows? And, considering what what Puerto Rico and Cuba have been through, making them states probably would not be a bad thing for those people. Because there's a lot of good people in Puerto Rico and Cuba. So, States. Pretty proud of that. I'm proud of the work I've done as a truck driver to this point in my career as well. Only a company driver for Werner for 14 months. Then I began my owner-operator adventure. And I just finished my third complete year as an owner-operator. It is amazing to me that I made it work this far and this long. And just in time for me to pay the truck off, I have reached and completed my third year in it. It's quite the accomplishment. I feel proud of what I've done, and I'm hoping that 23 brings me more to be proud of as well. But that's the future. For the moment, YouTube, I will say thank you all very much for every one of you, my subscribers, people who just click on my videos at random. I am sincerely thankful for every view that I get, every comment that I get, even if I don't respond. I am so thankful that I've got over 300 subscribers. Hopefully that number will continue to grow. And again, I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. And with the greatest sincerity and honesty from me to you, I wish you the very happiest New Year. And if you never watch any of my videos ever again, may good fortune smile upon you. May no ill thing arise. And may health, happiness, and blessing abound and abide wherever you go. And with that, YouTube, I will say good night, Godspeed, Happy New Year, and I will definitely